when I meet with participants in my trainings is if there is a limit of age. So I'm telling you now, especially if you're joining mobility projects for youth workers, the majority of the cases, they don't have a limit of age. So you can apply, and if you select, then you can go for a project like that. So we have people who have some experiences joining training courses. We don't have, and we have people who have joined both of them. Okay, so youth exchanges, what are these projects? So these are youth exchanges is a project in which youngsters come together to develop skills, to work together, and to lead activities if they want. Yeah. So it's not like we normally used to see, like in the school framework, that the students go abroad for an exchange with another school, and then they're sleeping in guest houses or in family houses. Normally, because this can also happen, but normally in youth exchanges, what happens is that we come all together to one place, and for 5, 7, 10 days, we are all together, we're learning together, we're spending the evenings together. So the formal time of the youth exchange and the workshops we spend together, the informal time, it's also part of the learning that the youngsters, they can exchange and they can learn from each other. And the idea of these projects is to foster intercultural dialogue between the youngsters, to develop skills and attitudes, and special interpersonal skills and soft skills, to strengthen European values, breaking stereotypes so that we learn about other cultures, or we learn about things that maybe we believe are true and they are not, and we learn from the people who are from these countries. And we raise awareness about some issues that are important for the society at the moment. So I had youth exchanges on the topic of well-being, on digital learning, on human rights, on creating youth exchanges. So the idea is that the youngsters, they come together, they spend a certain amount of time together, and you get funds for them for the accommodation and for the logistics. You get funds for the travels. You get funds for yeah, that's mostly what youth exchanges cover. So that the funds that you have is to implement the activity. Okay, so to implement the activity of the youth exchange. So this one, in these projects, you have a minimum of 4 youngsters, so between 13 to 30 years old, and then you have always a youth leader. So this means that the young people, they don't travel alone. This means that they don't have to learn about European development and intercultural learning on their own. And especially the groups with whom I work, and in this case on supporting youth exchanges, I work often in Poland. Then often the language is also an issue. So the youngsters, they want to go abroad, but they're not sure if they can speak English, if they can communicate with the other youngsters. So that's also why they go with the leader, so that the leader can support them with the language, and then they can open up and start practicing. And then they see that the others, they're also not comfortable. So within this lack of comfort, we can all be comfortable or more comfortable. Yeah. So that's what youth exchanges are. Youth exchanges require that you have at least an organization from abroad. So if I'm doing a youth exchange applying through Poland, then I could have another organization from Spain, for instance. And we have to have 2 countries so that there is actually an exchange between the 2 cultures, right? While in youth participation activities, that doesn't have to happen. So youth participation activities are activities which support young people creating projects, developing and learning about the EU. So in these projects, we give opportunities to engage, to learn, to participate in the civic society. So the youngsters, they can interact with different levels, and they can also develop skills related to democracy, to citizenship, to economic, social, cultural, political reality, and how they can participate and they can be involved in these activities. And youth participation activities are projects that can be implemented at European level. So you can have partners from a different country. You can also implement it at national level. So me as an organization in Poland, I can apply for a youth participation activity to run local projects with my youngsters in Poland. So I don't necessarily need to have a partner. That's the first thing we need to remember. The second thing we need to remember is that even if I decide to do a project in which the activities are only at national level, I can still visit, for instance, the places where there are the European Union institutions. So we can have a project in which I'm having democratic values being implemented at local level with my youngsters. And then in one of the moments we go to Brussels. to visit the European Union institutions. Or we can go to one of the countries in which there are the EU institutions so that they can learn about how the EU works, what these institutions are, what support these institutions provide to us as citizens. So this is the idea of the project also, is that we learn at local level. You can have policymakers being involved and coming and having meetings with the youngsters, or you can have workshops on developing policy and citizenship. And you can also go to the places abroad and visit the EU member states. So if you have partners from a different country, then naturally you can also have exchanges between them. But then you can always have this third element in which you learn about the institutions of the EU. And again, you get funding to run the activities. Here you get also monthly management fund to run youth participation activities. And then if you travel, you have a budget for the travel and for the spends to be abroad, for the time that you are abroad, for the people who are going to be abroad, the amount of people who are going to be abroad. So youth participation activities, they can be done at national level, they can be done at European level. Both ways you can visit the EU institutions. Youth exchanges, you need to have partners from abroad. And then the exchanges with these partners. Yeah? And then we have mobility projects for youth workers. So I have a question for you now. So you say that you have been involved in training courses. You say that you have been involved or you know about youth exchanges. So my question to you is, what is the difference between implementing a training course and implementing a youth exchange? What is the main difference between implementing these two projects? I'm asking you the questions which normally people ask me. So that's why I'm asking the questions to you, so that we understand what is what, because this is a question that also comes to me a lot of times. So youth exchanges are projects which are focused on the personal development of young people. So this is very important, because when we're implementing workshops and trainings, workshops and activities with youngsters, they develop at personal level. Makes sense to you until now? Then we have mobility projects for youth workers, in which we are developing at professional level what we do with the youngsters. Let me explain you how the approach is different. I have courses on well-being, and I have developed both youth exchanges on the topic of well-being, and I have developed also training courses on the topic of well-being. So what is the difference between one thing and the other? When I'm working on well-being with youngsters, they come and they are involved in the workshops, in learning how they can take advantage of this learning for themselves as people. So their personal development. When I'm working with training courses, so when youth workers travel to meet together and learn about well-being with me, they experience the workshops throughout the training course. But what we do is we reflect on how can they implement this back home with the youngsters, which is a step which the youngsters don't have, because they are not implementing it to anybody, because it's not a professional activity, right? So mobility projects for youth workers are based on developing professional activities which support the professional development of these people. So whatever the youth workers are doing, they come to meet in one place so that they learn how they can implement it afterwards with the youngsters. Within the mobility projects for youth workers, so you can develop activities at European level. Normally there are partners also which come together, and you have an European team or an international team working from different countries. And you can do job shadowing. So that's one of the things we discussed yesterday. So you can go and shadow somewhere else so that you learn how they do things. You can do exchanges in which you learn and you share the exchanges between each other. So that's peer learning. It's how we learn from our peers, the people who do similar things than we do. You can develop networking. So you can create projects in which you're going to support networking and sharing contacts and develop ideas for projects and community building to support our communities. And then training courses, as you have said, it's something that you're familiar with. Seminars, and seminars within non-formal education are not seminars as in the formal education sector. So a training course and a seminar is something that you can implement within a key action one. Training courses means that a trainer comes, or a few trainers come, and they bring competences to the youth workers so that they learn because they don't know about these competences. While seminars, you have a facilitator who is providing the learning between the participants. So that means that the participants have different experiences, and then they all bring the knowledge together so that they can learn from each other. So it's a very line learning from all the participants in seminars, in which, for instance, I develop seminars on the topic of social inclusion and youth work. And then youth work, I do trainings. So within the networks that are already to support the framework of youth work. And then when there is social inclusion, I have people who are working with refugees in France, people who are working with refugees in Italy, people who are working with refugees in Poland. And then the experiences are very different. They have different challenges on how to cope with these issues. Some things have worked, some things have not, and then they exchange it between themselves so that they say, okay, I had that problem already before and we solved it in this way, so maybe you can try to implement it in this way. And that's what the seminar is. And then you can also implement workshops. Yeah, I just would like to share with you the course that we have online. So if you allow me, I will go through it shortly, because these are courses that we have tried to put out there to answer to some of the struggles that you have, to answer to some of the difficulties that keep repeating and coming back to us. And we decided this year that we're going to put the courses online out there. The price of the courses are really low. It's something that if you grab team in your organizations, you definitely have how to afford these courses. And they go with you step by step on how to understand what that is. So you have videos from me recording, you have reflection exercises that you can use, you have links for further resources. So these questions on where is this information, then it's there and it's related to what you want to do. So if it's training courses, you have information related to training courses. If it's youth exchanges, you have information related to youth exchanges, where to look for partners, templates on how to prepare for your projects. So we have tried to put it as much together as possible and as more little budget as we can offer to you. And there is really a world of different stuff inside of the course. So if you get into our shop, you also have the video on how to get into that. And you take a peek of what is inside of the course. So you see also if it's the questions that are related to what you need. And thank you for the ones who have enrolled, by the way. So we really do appreciate it, and I appreciate very much that you trust me with your time today, that you trust me with the knowledge, and that you have trusted us also throughout workshops that we have implemented before, training courses, physically online, live online. So all these different formats that I have tried to put out there for you, and I will keep trying to put it out there for you so that you can really have advantage of the knowledge. And we have, so these are the courses that we do. The courses online are called Erasmus Plus Made Simple for you. And you can explore Erasmus European projects. You can explore Erasmus Plus. So what is the program structure. We also have explanation on the sectors and how to divide these sectors. So that's also a question that I have from you often. To which sector do I apply? To which key action do I apply? So the course tries to answer to that. We have explanations on key action 1 projects and these 3 kind of projects that we have discussed today. And key action 2s will be coming up. So when we are applying for a fund on a key action 1 project, we're normally talking about projects which are within it depends a lot, but the budget could be between 10 or 15,000 euros, and then it depends of how much activities you're implementing, the budget will grow. When we speak about key action 2 projects, we start from 30,000 euros. So we're talking about investment in courses which is between 20 and 40 euros, in which then the way back is going to be much more. So it's really an investment for you. I'm not going to try to show you that you should buy the course or anything. I'm just giving you the explanation of what that is, so that you know that the courses are available. They are available for you. If you'd like to take advantage of it, please do. We will be very happy if you do, because it was created to support you, because I know how to implement projects. I have been implementing projects for a long time, and our results are really very good. So ours and the people who has been creating projects with us. So European projects, Erasmus Plus, and Key Action 1 projects at the moment. Key Action 2s will come. What we do is we teach you how to fish, because the program is updated, There are changes which have been into place and they will come back again. So what we want you to know is how to look for the information so that then you can also navigate it on your own. So I think that's the most important, because if I would have been receiving projects from other people, I would not learn how to write projects. And this is the skill that stays with you for the end of your life. And this is a skill that stays with you and that is very needed. So then a lot of organizations need either project writers or project coordinators. So it's an investment on what you can do now and in the future also for yourself. We also host physical courses. So if you would like to send your staff to our organization, to our courses in Poland, sorry, we host courses for staff. So what we discussed yesterday, we host these courses, and we also host courses on project writing and project management. Listen to our podcast because it has a lot of different information that brings it back to you from people who have been involved in projects. So they tell you how it is. So the podcast is on Spotify. And we also have live courses, either with organizations based on what you want to create. And you can also take your partners into the meetings and we can meet all together and discuss how we should organize the information and the paperwork. Or we also have individual courses for people. So there are a bunch of opportunities and a bunch of options that you have. Plus, we have articles online, we have webinars of free access on YouTube. So really, we put the information out there for you so you can take advantage of it.